I'm sitting on a beach in Maui. The sun is hitting my face and V got a cold drink in my hand. But then my phone buzzes and it's a notification for my Ring doorbell. I open the app thinking it's just a delivery, but no, I see my mother-in-law, Martha, standing on my porch with a real estate agent and a couple I've never seen in my life. They're walking through my front door like they own the place. Martha is gesturing to my hardwood floors and my custom kitchen, like she's some kind of high. End broker. My heart just stops. It literally feels like my chest is collapsing because I know for a fact that I never gave her a key for this. I never even told her we were leaving the spare under the planter. She must have spent weeks hunting for it. I called my husband, Tyler, screaming at him to look at the camera, and the look on his face was pure horror. He told me his mom had been joking about how we didn't need such a big house, but we never thought she'd actually try to list it behind our backs. She's always been entitled, always acting like our marriage was just a temporary inconvenience for her, but this was a whole new level of insanity. I watched on the screen as she led those strangers into my bedroom, pointing at my closet, laughing like she was having a tea party. I felt violated. It felt like someone was stripping me naked in public. I was thousands of miles away, watching a woman I'm supposed to call family try to sell the roof over my head while I was supposed to be on my first vacation in 3 years. I didn't call her. Not yet. I didn't want to give her the chance to make up a lie or hide what she was doing. I just watched and recorded everything. Every single second of them walking through my house, touching my things, discussing closing dates and renovations. Martha even told the agent that the previous owners were moving out in a hurry and everything inside was negotiable. I was shaking so hard the sand was kicking up around my chair. Tyler was on the phone with the airline trying to get us the first flight back, but we were stuck for another 12 hours. The helplessness was the worst part. Knowing a stranger was probably sitting on my sofa right now, judging my life, while my mother-in-law was preparing to pocket a commission on a house she didn't contribute a single cent to. I remember looking at the ocean and realizing that the woman I'd tried so hard to please for 5 years was officially dead to me. There was no coming back from this. No. Apology? No. I was just trying to help. Excuse was going to fix the fact that she was a thief in a floral dress. I pulled up my laptop right there on the beach, my fingers flying across the keys. I contacted a local locksmith and a private security firm back home. I paid them triple to get to my house within the hour. If she wanted to play real estate mogul, I was going to give her a lesson in property rights that she'd never forget. The vacation was over, but the war was just beginning. We landed at 4 a.m., exhausted, angry, and ready for blood. We didn't even go to a hotel. We went straight to our street, but we parked a block away just to see if she was still there. The locksmith had already done his job. Every single lock on every door and window had been replaced with high-security smart bolts, and the security guard I hired was sitting in a plain black SUV across the street. Martha wasn't there yet, but I knew she'd be back. She had another showing scheduled for 10 a.m. because I'd seen her email on the shared family iPad. I sat in my dark living room, staring at the front door, just waiting for the handle to turn. Around 9:30 a.m., her silver Lexus pulled into my driveway. She looked so smug, wearing her best Sunday suit, carrying a folder full of contracts. She walked up to the porch with the same real estate agent from the video. I watched them on the monitor from the kitchen. She slid her key into the lock, but it wouldn't even go in halfway. She frowned, jiggled it, tried again, and then started banging on the door like a maniac. The real estate agent looked confused, checking his watch. I let her struggle for 5 minutes, let her get real frustrated and sweaty in the morning sun. Then, I slowly opened the door just a crack, keeping the security chain on. The look on her face was worth every penny of that flight. She turned white, then red, then a weird shade of purple. She started stammering, asking what I was doing home early, trying to pretend she was just there to water the plants. I didn't say a word. I just held up my phone and played the video of her telling those strangers that the house was for sale. The real estate agent's jaw dropped. He looked at Martha like she was a ticking bomb. I told him right then and there that this woman has zero ownership, zero authority, and if he didn't leave in 10 seconds, I'd have him arrested for trespassing and fraud. He didn't wait. He practically ran to his car. Martha started screaming. She dropped the sweet grandma act and started shrieking that we were ungrateful, that she needed the money for her retirement fund, and that we owed her for all the years she'd supported Tyler. It was a total meltdown. She tried to push past me, but the security guard I'd hired stepped out of his SUV and stood right behind her. The shift in the air was instant. She realized she wasn't the one in control anymore. She was a trespasser on my property, and I had the paperwork to prove it. I handed her a single trash bag. Through the crack in the door, it had her spare shoes and her sweater that she'd left over a month ago, and I told her she was never, ever setting foot inside again. The street was quiet after the police came and told her she had to move her car or be towed. She'd spent 2 hours sitting on the curb, crying and calling every relative we have, telling them I was a monster. I watched from the window as one by one our aunts and cousins called Tyler, but he just blocked them. He sat on the floor of our empty hallway, his head in his hands, finally seeing his mother for exactly who she was, a predator. The house felt different now. It didn't feel like a home anymore. It felt like a crime scene. Even though nothing was stolen, the energy was just gone. We spent the afternoon changing every password, every security code, and filing a formal restraining order. It wasn't the satisfying victory I thought it would be. It just felt hollow. I walked through the rooms she'd shown off to strangers, and I felt like I needed to scrub the walls with bleach. I found a for sale sign she'd hidden in the garage, and I broke it in half without feeling anything at all. The sun started to set, casting long, cold shadows across the floorboards she'd tried to sell. Martha sent one last text before Tyler blocked her too. It just said, "You've destroyed this family," but I knew she was the one who pulled the trigger. I went out to the porch that night. After the security guard had finished his shift, the air was still, and the neighborhood was settling into that deep, suburban silence. I looked at the spot on the curb where she'd been sitting, and for a second, I felt a tiny spark of pity. But then I remembered the look in her eyes when she was walking through my bedroom, the greed, the complete lack of respect for my life, and the pity just evaporated. I went back inside and locked the door. The new lock made a heavy, solid thunk, a sound that meant safety, but also meant a permanent ending. We didn't talk much that night. We just sat in the dark, listening to the house settle. Tyler finally fell asleep on the sofa, but I stayed awake, watching the Ring camera on my phone. Just a black and white view of an empty porch and a quiet street. There were no more strangers, no more agents, no more Martha. Just me and the walls I'd fought to keep. I realized that sometimes, to keep your home, you have to lose your family. And as the first light of morning started to creep through the windows, I decided that was a price I was willing to pay. I wasn't happy, I wasn't sad, I was just done